And thanks to all of you for being here. Love the early morning. Who likes early morning events? Yeah, early morning. Let's do it. So today is a big topic. We're talking about living wage. But I first I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Brian Hill. I've been working at Momentum for 16 years now. And it's a bit of a lifer here at Momentum. I started when I was 11 working. It's a remarkable journey. 60 minutes did a piece. No, I'm just joking. So I've been here quite some time, but I'm also, my other hat that I wear is as a Be Local member. So about a year and a half ago, I started a company with a friend called Tough Hill e-bikes. And so it's really cool because my day job is here at Momentum, but I'm also a very proud Be Local member and trying to get e-bikes out into the world. So kind of wearing both hats today. I wanted to start with acknowledging the land and where we are today, and also this room. So I don't know if you saw the sign on the way in here today. We are in the Anido PC room, and that is Blackfoot for spiderweb. And it's Momentum's elder. He's this really cool guy named Roy Bearchief, and he talks about this creation story of how we are all on the web together. And when you sense vibrations in the web, that's when you go and help. So as you live your life, as you go throughout your day, you're kind of listening. Where am I needed? Where are the opportunities? Where are the vibrations coming from? So his big teaching for Momentum is how do we follow the vibrations? And it's so applicable to so many different elements of life. So here we are in the Anido PC room. I hope you're feeling some good vibrations today. And we've got a great topic lined up. I'd encourage everyone just take a look out the window in this moment. You can see the sky, we've got the trees. Maybe everyone just take a deep breath in and out. And I want to acknowledge that this land where we're hosting this event today is a traditional territory of the Blackfoot, so made up of the Siksika, the Kainai, Piikani nations. Also the traditional territory of the Tsuut'ina and Iahe Nakota nations, and home to Métis Nation Region 3. Today is, as maybe the young people would say, a collab, okay, between VCC and Alberta Living Wage Network and Be Local. And so, I just want to thank all of the stakeholders that came together to plan what do people really need to know about this topic and what's going to be a really dynamic way to talk about this today. So appreciate all those stakeholders. We're here at Momentum. I don't know how many of you have been in this Momentum space before? A few people, Okay, so you've been here a few times, eh? Yeah. So just briefly, the connection between Momentum and the Be Local network. So when I reflect on that, my very first Be Local networking event was about a year and a half ago. And I was super nervous. I've been to networking events before, obviously, but I hadn't been to a networking event where it was my business that I was talking about. And I had my company business cards in my pocket. I was nervous about it. But the group of people that I met that night were just so caring and supportive and encouraging and wanted to learn about the bikes and how things are going. And I met a few really interesting people that night. I met a tea shop owner, you might know who I'm talking about, who's really excited and inspired to host reconciliation conversations in his business space. And I met a company that produced socks, among other things, locally. They bring all the manufacturing of their apparel local to Calgary, and they're called Planesbreaker, and they were talking about the why behind that. And then I met this kind of wild knife company, and that was talking about living wage and the importance of that, and so I left with this impression that this network is about not just creating income for businesses, but also creating impact. And there was a whole room full of people that held both of those values together, and that really blew me away. And so it's that impact piece that really is the connection to Momentum and what we do as an organization. So we work with people living on low incomes in Calgary to create an economy that works for everybody. And that's our mission here at Momentum. And so when you think about, it was in 2019 that Momentum said, yes, we would like to host the Be Local network at Momentum within our organization. The reason for that was because if we are going to create community change together, it's not just going to be a few nonprofits that get together to try to figure that out. It's going to be the business sector. It's going to be small businesses that believe in our community and what's possible in our community. And so imagine the power and the impact that 200, 300, 400 small businesses that are motivated to create community change can have in our city. And so that's the why behind the Momentum and the Be Local collab, if I can use that, throw that term out there again. But yeah, I think those are the main topics that I wanted to cover. I want to invite Ryan, and I'm going to make sure I get your name right, Ryan. Got it right here. Ryan Lakainalau. Ryan Lakainalau. Okay, yeah. Thanks for being here, Ryan, from the Living Wage Network.
Thank you.
Take it away.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. This is a really great moment for me because, for one, Calgary is my hometown. Well, I was born in Calgary, so it's nice to be here. And the Alberta Living Wage Network is a provincial network, so I'm actually based in Edmonton, and I'm meeting so many people for the first time today. Like, I met a whole bunch of people that I've been working with for the last 2 years for the first time today, so it's been really amazing to see all these faces and seeing that everyone has legs, and that it's just, yeah, surprising. And so I'm gonna just chat a little bit about the connection of Alberta Living Wage Network here. So we are a collaborative of municipalities and nonprofits from 18 communities across the province. And we calculate living wage rates, and we also certify employers who commit to paying a living wage, which we started that certification program just a year and a half ago. And we've recently hit 100 employers now, so it's growing pretty quick. And there is an affordability crisis that I think people are feeling now in the province, so it is on the top of people's minds. And part of what we do is we advocate for affordability policy from the government, because this is on the government. And also, we want to celebrate the employers who take that initiative to go above and beyond and to commit to paying a living wage, even though it's not always easy, and everyone's journey is different. So we invited these panelists up here because they are all certified living wage employers, and they all have their own unique journeys, and it would be nice to get some insight from the folks who are actually in it, doing it, and learning about their journeys, the challenges, and the benefits. So I'm just gonna do a really quick introduction of the panelists, and then I'll hand things over to Phil, who's the moderator today. So our panelists, we have Kevin Kent here, who is the owner and president of Knifewear. We have Shannon Newman here, who is the director of WOW at Righteous Gelato. We have Megan Stanley, the founder and president of Dogma Training. And we have Yancel King, the CEO of Home Spritz. So I will hand things over to Philip now to take over.
Thanks, Ryan.
Happy belated birthday, Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
Happy belated birthday, James. Welcome, everyone. My name is Philip Lozano. I'm the manager for the Be Local Network. On the team is Jenna and Hitanj as well. You'll be seeing the three of us at all the events moving forward. We're going to jump right into things. Maybe we'll start with an introduction to your business. We'll try to keep it brief because we're going to try to have this action-packed. And I think Ryan had also asked, we wanted to incorporate some storytelling into this. So in addition to what your business is all about, briefly, can you also tell us the story of one of your staff members and why a living wage is important to your organization? Okay. So on that note, Youngsil, you were the last one to arrive, so you can be the first one to go.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, nice to meet everybody this morning. My name is Yancel. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Home Spritz. So we are a marketplace, a web platform to connect the families and private house cleaners directly. And we provide the tools for the house cleaners to manage their business. I wanted to talk about one of our staff, one of the cleaners. Her name is Ashley. Sorry, I couldn't bring the picture. I chatted with her, but she wasn't feeling comfortable. But her name is Ashley. She joined our company about 2 years ago. When I first reviewed her resume, she had a great experience, roughly 10 years of house cleaning experience. But her resume looked quite interesting because for the company, she worked through multiple cleaning companies for about 3 months here, 5 months there, 2 months here. It looks quite interesting and also can look very negative too. I found it interesting, so I called her and I asked her just directly, hey, you have great experience, but this is kind of red flag for me. Can you tell me more about that? So she told me about the story, how much they got paid, and she just had to switch over to make a couple dollars more. I don't know how much, so house cleaning, I don't know if anybody hires house cleaners. You usually pay somewhere between 30 to 45-ish an hour, depending on who you hire. They get paid roughly around $15 to $18 an hour. Majority of our cleaners in our team are single mothers with 2 or multiple kids. That just is not feasible. So most of the cleaners who work for other companies, they shuffle through. That's a really common practice in there. This company pays $18, that company pays $19. They just shuffle through. So we found it really interesting, and then that's totally fair. So she joined our company. She's very happy with how much she gets paid, how she's valued within our company. She's been here ever since. She's really happy with us. It makes a big difference. So it's not only for her life, but for our business and also our clients as well. She's happier. She doesn't need to shuffle through anymore. She can sustainably support her family with kids. And because she is staying longer, our clients get to see her face longer rather than having different cleaners every time. So we really see this a win-win, and this is the vision and why we started this journey.
Kevin, I'm going to have you go next because we're going to keep people on their toes. Kevin, you're next.
I was all relaxed. By the way, my birthday's coming up here too. Just, you know. I'm Kevin. My partner and wife over there, Candace, and I own Knifewear. We import and sell Japanese kitchen knives. And our Toronto store is opening on Thursday. Yay! And I guess that's where I want to start. I want to say that it's paying a living wage, treating your staff well. It's not an altruistic thing. It's like, I want to say this up first. It's good business practice, right? Having a dedicated team that is confident to come to work, that doesn't need a second job, and sticks around is just good for your business. So I know that there's a lot of rhetoric you hear all the time that you can't afford to raise minimum wage or you can't afford to pay living wage. Honestly, I think you can't afford not to. Right, so we opened the store in Toronto. It's our, I don't know, what is it, our 9th store or something? 8th, something like that. And I was out there a few months ago to sign a lease, and I worked with my favorites, the lawyers, the landlords, and the lease. And then I bought the stereo for it. And my team designed it, they built it, they did the hiring, they sent all the product out, they're ready to go. They opened up a few days ago. We're officially opening on Thursday. We've already opened. Because you see I've got a crutch here. I've been having operations and things, and I wasn't involved at all. And how does that work? Because we have dedicated, excellent staff, right? And that's the only way. Like retail stores, and we've realized that with 53 employees, I've written it down so I don't get this number wrong. 18 of them, I think, have been with us for over, 18 of them have been with us for over 5 years. And 5 of them have been over 10 years. So 34% of our staff have been there for a long time. It's just good business. Take care of your staff. And you said I was supposed to have some kind of a story from somebody.
We wanted to bring, root this in like a personal connection.
Yeah. So Tiffany started with us nearly 5 years ago. She'll be 5 years this year, so we'll get to add her to the list. It'll be 19 out of 53. And what she said to me, she texted me, I'll just read it. She said, making a proper wage has not just made my life better, but it's made my life possible. Because of my wages, we have been foster parents for 2 years this June, and we're able to purchase our home and provide a safe, stable, consistent life our son deserves. On top of this, I believe that making a living wage has made it possible for me to bring more to the table at work. I'm not always struggling to find a side hustle. My attention isn't pulled from work because I can't afford medicine or dental care or other necessities of life. I know my family is safe, so I'm willing and able to contribute my best at work. Great news.
Amazing. Thank you, Kevin. Who am I going to go with next? Shannon.
Over to me. Okay, so I'm Shannon. I am officially Executive Assistant to the CEO and Director of WOW at Righteous Gelato. Director of WOW just means that I take his ideas and execute on them when it comes to surprising and delighting people with gelato. So not as fancy as it sounds. WOW doesn't, it's not an acronym. It's just people say WOW when they get gelato. And in that time, working really closely with James, obviously his most important role is people and culture. And so over time, it's really become one of my great passions as well. So I'm really lucky to be able to sit at the table and talk about things that matter to our team. And in looking at my own story, my background is very corporate. Coming in and learning from so many people about what matters to them, what's going to have them want to retire at Righteous. And our biggest team is our production team. It's a really difficult role to fill because it's quite physical and it's really hard work. And some people, the people who absolutely love it. And so if they love it at Righteous, but they love it somewhere else where they're going to make more money, that's where they're going to go and work. And they are the absolute heartbeat of our business. And we want, like I said, we want everyone to want to retire there. And so the living wage conversation is just not even a conversation. It's great. It's what we have to do to run a great business. Very proud as well of the tenure of so many members of the team. People have been there for 5, 6, 7, 9 years. It's like 3/4 of the operation, and so something that we're really proud of, and something that we're working to get better every day at. And so I'll share just a story about a fairly new team member, Carl, a new Canadian, and a lot of the what we hear from our team members who are new Canadians is the barriers to great employment can be really high, and so there's a lot of just taking what they can in order to gain Canadian experience, sort of boost up their resume, practice their English, etc. And so there's a lot of looking and like big changes in the resume because they're continuously looking for ways to make this move to Canada worth it for the family that they've brought and the life that they're trying to build here. And so when they arrive at Righteous, it's like they can just breathe a sigh of relief because now they can actually, instead of this constant hustle of trying to find what's going to be the thing that makes them successful here, it's like now they've arrived and they can just start building their life. And that's what we are so proud of, that people can come to Righteous and picture a future where they thrive, where they purchase homes, where they settle in community and thrive within their community.
Last but not least, Megan. And Dogma actually won a Be Local award years ago before Momentum took stewardship over the organization. So I'm especially keen to hear from Megan because she's had this long, rich history with Be Local and REAP even before Momentum was a part of the picture. So Megan, please introduce Dogma.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone for coming today. I'm really excited about this conversation. We've been working really closely with Ryan. Hi, Ryan. Nice to meet you in person. And so Dogma is a dog training company. I've got 2 locations. We are setting the standard for care and training for dogs. Our goal being that we can help dogs be successful in our busy human world. Do I have dog people here? Good. So we do everything. We do day school, private training, group classes, and we also have an academy to help people become dog trainers. I started the business primarily with the focus at really just changing the way we treat our dogs and how we help them. And then within that journey, growing a team, my focus really shifted. I think as a dog trainer, my initial success, we were talking before, how many people come in to me and say, I want to work with dogs because I don't like people. And 98% plus of my job as a dog trainer is connecting with people. And so the people side of it, I was so excited to get team in. It was really exciting to have team come in and share the passion and that drive and goal for what we were trying to accomplish with Dogma. And so it just all naturally kind of fell in. And we're unique in the sense that we're not a recognized industry. Education has been the core of what I do. So I've spent a lot of time getting formal education, making sure that we're setting that standard, because basically anyone can kind of hang their hat up or their leash up and say they're a professional dog trainer with zero experience. And so we really wanted to change that. And that's where the team side has kind of fallen in. We've always tried to pay above par. Majority of dog trainers or dog people come in and they're working at dog daycare facilities, maybe as dog walkers, dog sitters, anything like that, and looking for growth. So one thing I wanted to do was, through Dogma Academy, really help people develop a career and get that education. So that's where it first started. And then I started to recognize that there's just not a lot of growth opportunities for people. And so what they have to do is start their own business, which is great, but not always easy. So many dog trainers, it's a hobby job where they're working full time and then they're doing all these hours trying to build this business, and it's really, really challenging. And so within that, I started to really change our model within the business as well, so that we can provide that and invest in our team, but also create a career. You can't, as a dog trainer, go and get your designation, and it's not easy to just go somewhere and have a career. Have, benefits matter. Moms, we have lots of young females on the team. So being able to provide a flexible career option where they can get benefits and have that security was really important. And so working with Ryan, everything we built in this education piece. So we provide all of that to the team and really develop their career within it. I'm okay. We've got long-term team members. I'm also okay if they go on to do big things on their own too. So I think we need more qualified dog trainers, so I can invest in people, they help us grow, and then they go do great things. I think that's really impressive. I love that about that. One of our team members I was going to talk about is Elizabeth. So she's been with us about 4 years. Elizabeth has 3 university degrees, none of them really related specifically to dog training, and decided that she wanted to work with dogs. So she started going around to a variety of businesses within Calgary, started to recognize that there's a lot of really upsetting methods on how dogs are being trained and treated, the stress it was causing for families as well. So, and as well, she was looking, Elizabeth, 3 university degrees, she wants to learn, she wants to get out there, she wants opportunities, so she really sought out Dogma. So she applied multiple times, and I loved it. We don't have a lot of opportunities that come up, really. So a job goes out and we have lots of people that are looking at wanting to come into Dogma because of what we can help them for growth in their career. And so Elizabeth applied multiple times. We're very glad she was persistent because she's been with us. She now is head of behavior at our Killarney location. She's working on her behavior designation with us. We've given her 3 certificates so far, and she's working through 2 more. And she's one, I love it because she challenges us to make sure that we're keeping her busy. Through COVID, all of those challenges, she's been incredible. So our goal was to ensure that we just kept investing in the team that was there. And she's one that we've continued to just raise her salary, make sure we're providing all the benefits. We're helping, she lives in Airdrie, so just ensuring that we're really helping her with that stuff. But I don't feel like it's just what you do, and I still don't feel like we're doing enough for her, right? She's such a great employee. All of my team is really great. She's incredibly grateful, but she's exactly, when we're talking about a team member to speak about here, she's one that I think just really speaks to what we offer and that growth opportunity for her. We hope that she's with us a long time, but I also see really, really bright things in her future. So she's just going to challenge us to keep growing the business that we can fill that. But if not, she'll always be a Dogma family member for us. So.
So we were wickedly intentional with this panel we put together. We wanted businesses of different size, offering different products and services, and all engaging with their staff in different ways. We had promised a juicy conversation today. As we know, being an entrepreneur running a business isn't all roses and rainbows. So we're just going to jump into it. Let's address the elephant in the room. There was a significant increase in the living wage this year to $22.40. Tell us about how that's been for your operations. You've got dead eye contact with me, Yancel.
Sitting here.
How has it been for you with this increase in living wage? How's it gone?
I think other panels would probably answer to that better. We always started with that higher wage because that was kind of why we started the business and the whole vision we started with. So we were kind of previously higher than rate, and that's what we are pushing to continue. So this recent change didn't really impact us as much because we are still we're already there. But yeah, I just like for the company, I really want to emphasize that employees are not supporters for the business to run. Employees are the business itself, especially in the labor competitive market. Investing in the people who would actually care rather than, oh, I'll just do this for a couple months until something else comes up, versus I want to keep this job. That huge mindset switch would make a huge impact in your business and in your growth. So it's just, don't think of it as a sacrifice or, oh, I'm losing this for this goodwill. No, you're actually doing the bigger investment in your business for a better success.
Tell me someone was tweeting some quotes from Yancel, just dropping bombs of wisdom on us. I love it. And this is, I think, purely by coincidence, but if I'm not mistaken, I think both Megan and Yancel pay like the base of $22.40 an hour, correct?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Yeah, not yet, but.
Okay. And so do you want to talk about that transition for you, Megan?
Sure. Yeah, when it first came out, it's been tough coming out of COVID for like many businesses. We scaled our team down, and through COVID, we were making changes. Everyone talked about this, pivot, right? But when we heard this at first, we just immediately went into changing so that we can make sure that it works. And so we've been working really hard at just adjusting our model. We're a training company. We're not your typical dog daycare. Most of those, there's large groups of dogs and they're just kind of in, and they've got team coming in, young employees, and just hope for the best, and there's just this trickle in and out the door all the time. And so we really wanted to change that, and this one was tough. When it first hit, we were like, okay, that's a really big jump. How does this impact us? Labor is about 60% of my business that it goes in. We invest pretty high in it. And so we were looking at that, and all that we've started to do now is we've adjusted how our money comes in the door. So we've created new bundles, like a monthly thing, to just make sure we've got a different level of cash flow to sustain it. We've included the team in the conversation as well. So talking about ways that we can find some growth without just expanding team members. We've looked at ways to add more passive revenue to the business too, because we are really labor intensive, and we're gonna make it work. It's not an option for us. This is really valuable to us. It's valuable to the team. The benefit we have too is we have much of our team coming off of their learning cycle. So that just means they come into us. We invest. It's about $5,000 to $6,000 that we invest in their education, and then once they come out of it, then there's increases and we go to salary and all of this other stuff. So we're still above bar when we're going through that process with them. That's always just kind of been the reward when they come out of it. So we're adjusting how we're looking at that and just making it work. And I love the challenge. It's like I love when, like I said, when team is demanding growth, when minimum wage, when that changed, that was impactful on our business. How do we make it work? when the certified living wage goes up, we just look at it and how do we make it work. And part of the challenge with the business is just ensuring we're not compromising our standards and values within the business. So our model is very different. It's one team member to a maximum of 8 dogs, where most places are 20, 30 plus. And just that investment. So we want to ensure nothing is compromised there, and just change it. And I think the big thing is just including the team. We're very transparent as a company, so they know where we're at, the challenges that we face with it. It gets them excited about it, and then my team is full of brilliant ideas. And I find it just encourages more of that to come out and to help us grow and make it work.
Thank you. Shannon, Righteous, highest rated gelato B Corp in the world, is that right?
Ice cream company.
Ice
yes.
cream company.
Yes, highest scoring ice cream company in the world.
And so for those of you who don't know, like the Alberta living wage, there's like a base number that you could pay, the $22.40, or there's another approach where you can provide a holistic package where they take into consideration factors above and beyond just the salary. So Shannon, can you just how did you get that incredible rating, and talk about that holistic package you do for your staff?
Yeah, totally. And I just realized when I was introducing myself, I didn't talk about Righteous. So thank you for that. Righteous is a local gelato producer. We make gelato and dairy-free products here in Calgary, and we sell in grocery stores across the country and into the US. So it's interesting because B Corp, when it talks about living wage, doesn't actually recognize a package. So that was something that when we did our most recent certification in 2021, we actually really, we were a thorn in their side in how much we were sort of pushing back, how is it possible that you don't take into account all of these additional perks and benefits that have a value to the team member, that have a cost to the business, that make up a total package. And they just, we got a lot of great feedback for them on, they appreciate the challenge and they are trying to work it in, but they're just not there yet.
Can you quickly tell the audience about some of those benefits who don't know about them?
Yeah, totally. So for us, it's everything from obviously health and wellness, dental, your typical benefits. We also have an in-house lunch program, which is subsidized, so the team members just pay a payroll deduction, and then we all eat lunch together. Everybody who chooses to participate, not everybody does. We have a wellness room, which is sort of valued as a gym membership, where we have equipment and things for people to use. We have footwear that we provide to the team who need it in terms of PPE. I'm trying to picture now the chart. What am I missing? Tuition, thank you. Learning and development, one of the highest valued things for us as an organization is continuous growth. And so we have personal and professional development funds. Paid time off is another, over and above. We really value people going away, rejuvenating, recharging, coming back, better than ever. So we really try to encourage people to take at least 20 days off a year.
So all staff start with 20 days off a year? We have this, the way we approach the perks and benefits that we offer the team is what value can we give to the team, but how do we also continue to operate as a business? And so we don't put 20 days in somebody's job offer, meaning if they move on, we don't pay them out for the time that they didn't take. So on paper, we follow the employment standards for time off, but we do have a no policy vacation policy, and so that's what's encouraged. That's what's within our culture is we want people to take as many long weekends as they can, as much time as they can in the summer, as much time as they can over Christmas, and so that's what we're continuously working towards is at least 20 days, if not more. I was 31 last year. Amazing. And so you can when you compare it to some of the industry standards where they're just paying a living wage, and that's it. And if you're sick, you don't get paid. It's kind of crazy, this wraparound, the holistic offering, really focused on your staff's wellness. Kevin, Knifewear also has a similar thing, and I'm going to get a little controversial because again, let's keep things a little juicy here. You're working on a manifesto Can I just drop that in there?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
But this holistic approach is something that you're fascinated by. Can you just kind of talk about your inspiration behind that and what that looks like for Knifewear?
Yeah, I guess it starts with. Sorry, Ryan. You know I'm going to get upset about here. No, I think living wages are fantastic. I think it's a great place to start, but I think we can do much better than that, right? Like, for example, in retail, most retail stores will hire a bunch of staff in December, and they get rid of them in January, or get rid of 20% of their staff in January, or they'll lay off people when it's slow, or they'll cut hours. As long as we're paying the 22, whatever it is, we can get it certified as living wage, right? So pay $22 an hour, we can be living wage champion and cut everyone's hours in half for January, February, March, April, May, and June, right, when we're losing money. But we don't do that. I don't think that, I think as an employer, we owe more than just an hourly wage, and I think as employees, they owe more than just a body that shows up begrudgingly, right? I think we can have a much better relationship. So, much like you guys, we offer a decent wage, but we've also got things like, we've got 5 personal days a year, we do profit sharing and seasonal bonuses, above and beyond bonuses, we get a health plan. Something that I'm really proud of is after 10 years, you've been with us, you get a 3-month paid holiday. So right now, what's his name now? Nathan is on his 3 months holiday, and I only missed him after 7 days. So that gives the team a good thing to grow with, is to replace Nathan when he's gone. But I think these are all things that we owe our staff, and some of those get calculated into the living wage. So we don't pay the $22 or whatever it is an hour in Calgary. We pay slightly less because we look at it as a yearly thing, right? So we work on a 40-hour week, whereas on a living wage is calculated on a 35-hour week. Everybody's on salary, and everybody's a permanent full-time employee, right? So we don't cut hours when we're slow. Like I said, we don't lay people off. Benefit, things like the bonus and the profit sharing obviously don't get calculated into that either, which is a bummer. But I guess profits aren't guaranteed, right? But things, I was going to say, there's also some non-tangibles that I think should really be incorporated into this idea of how to take care of staff, right? For example, everybody gets 2 days off in a row. I've been a chef my whole life before this, and I would sometimes have Tuesday and Friday off, right? That sucks, right? Everybody said, like I said, everybody's on salary, so they can budget. So you can pay the rent in January the same as you pay the rent in November, right? Because you're getting the same hours, you're getting the same pay. We have a strict no working when you're on holiday program. So if you are on holiday and you send a work email or you reply to something or you call me and you get found out, the punishment is you have to take me out for dinner. And I'm choosing the restaurant, and I promise to be thirsty. And our manager in Ottawa, Chris Lord, found out last year what it was like, because he sent Candace an email on day 3 of his holiday. And she said, Chris just emailed me, he's on holiday. I'm like, oh, well, he's fucked. And she's like, should I tell him? I'm like, no, let him chill out. So I waited till he was back for about 2 weeks, and I went, oh, by the way, on May 3rd, yeah, you owe me dinner. So things like that. We have the no work on holiday, 2 days off. Champagne Saturdays. If we do on Great Saturday, we drink champagne. We've always made it a policy to have excellent Christmas parties. Because I know when we started the business in 2007, 2008, 2009, a lot of companies, like oil companies who make billions of dollars, were canceling their Christmas parties, saying, oh, we can't afford a Christmas party. And I thought, what a bunch of bullshit. So I said, no, screw that. We're going to have like the best Christmas parties ever. Again, we don't bulk up in December and lay off in January. Hopefully there's room for people to grow. Like I said, we just opened a Toronto store. I hadn't really planned on opening a Toronto store this year. We were going to do it before COVID, and this year was a bit busy for me personally. But Kasumi, who's been with us for 13 years, said, I've lived in Tokyo, and I've lived in Vancouver, and I've lived in Auckland, New Zealand, and I've lived in Sydney, and I've lived in Montreal, and I've now lived in Calgary for 13 years, and I'm bored. I'm moving to Toronto. You should open a store in Toronto. So there we go. Things like that, I think we need to look at more closely, right? Like I said, I hate this idea that I could be called a living wage payer if we just cut everybody's hours whenever we felt like it and didn't add any of the lifestyle benefits that we like to add. So, the other thing too, pisses me off about living wage. And living wage doesn't piss me off. I really like it, and I wish I'd earned one at some point when I was an employee. But I get roasted by people sometimes because I like to come to these events and say, listen, it's a really good business to pay your staff well. And I like to say living wage. And then sometimes I'll get people on, you know, that bird app? It's called Twitter. That cesspit. But they'll come after me like, I saw your ad. It says you pay this much. Living wage is this much. You're lying. It's like, no, I'm not lying. There's calculation. And so, yeah, when the new numbers come out, people just go, well, I'm not banking that. I'm like, well, you are in the aggregate, right? You're actually doing much, much better than this. So I think it's a bit of a blunt tool, living wage. I get it, right? It's there to say, listen, Tim Hortons or whatever fast food joint, like, pick up your socks, man. Pay people properly. I think it's actually the government's problem. If we can say the poverty line's here and living wages here, or poverty line's here and we can say minimum wages here, this is the problem, right? So, anyway, I like the idea of a living wage. We're going to stop using the words because I just get roasted too much because people don't understand the whole package. They don't understand. They just see the number. And I don't want to get to a point where I'm just paying people a number. I want to give them a much bigger holistic job.
On that crazy controversial note, we're actually going to wrap things up. And here's why, because that's a crazy cliffhanger. That's like a soap opera, and then like a car's going off the cliff, and your main character's like, oh, what's happening, what's happening? So this is done with intention. So before we wrap things up, we're going to follow this up. Like everything we do at Be Local is rooted in peer-to-peer learning. So we found we're not just talking heads or experts in this space or academics. We wanted to find entrepreneurs who are doing it. And so the idea is to connect connections between entrepreneurs so that you can learn from one another. So just to put you on the spot, panel, is anyone not open to receiving a reach out for coffee or a hangout from anyone in the audience? Okay, it would be very awkward if one of you said no. So thank you. Thank you for being pressured into saying yes. We're also gonna again, we wanted to kind of plant seeds of curiosity and maybe even disrupt your thinking on this a lot. So we're actually gonna be going to a breakfast diner next to carry on the conversation in a more informal setting that's rooted in a local business, that's along International Avenue, which owns my heart because of its vibrancy, uniqueness, and the amount of ethnic restaurants on the Ave. So the idea is that we're gonna go have a greasy diner at a hole-in-the-wall diner, not something pretty. It's like the gravy and the coffee could be interchanged with one another. And they're my favorite, and I've been having meetings at these places, and people, I keep expecting people to be just order water and watch me eat, gravy on gravy, and then a little bit of fries on the side, but people seem to love it. And so I'm like, let's do an event around that. But the idea is we're gonna go have breakfast together and kind of unpack these in smaller group settings. And this is another element of the network that we try to do, is not how do we bring this learning out of the classroom and apply it in a way that hits home in a more realistic way. And so that comes down to real, intimate, small conversations. So everyone is welcome to join us, but it's pay for your own damn breakfast. We're gonna cover the panel, obviously. We're gonna be meeting there. But before we leave this location and bring it to a small local restaurant, I wanna end on, I don't want to call it advice, but maybe something that you'd like people to reflect on. A lot of the people in this room came from a place of curiosity. Maybe they're paying above a minimum wage, not quite a living wage, and they see the benefits of it, but are also struggling with inflation, increased costs, supply chain issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If any of you have some reflections that you'd like to leave people with, I just want to have a quick go around, an idea that you want to plant with them. Shannon, can we kick things off with you?
I'm just making a quick mental list because I don't want to forget anything.
Okay.
So the first one, and I love that Megan talked a lot about this, is the being openness to looking holistically at your business as like, well, I have to pay a living wage, so that's not something I can mess with. What else in our organization can we shift or adjust or make more efficient or cut costs, et cetera? Like, there's so many opportunities that I think when you just have a living wage or higher as a table stakes, then you're working with what you're working with, and it really challenges your innovation in terms of all of the other ways that you do business. So I think that's really important. And then just kind of what Kevin was saying, the sort of roasting or the it's really difficult when it happens externally. It's even more difficult when it happens internally. When your team is like, liars, like, why haven't you done anything yet? This 2240 came out months ago, and yet here you are still working with the network, trying to adjust the business and look to see what we can do. And so reflecting now, the education piece is really where I think we've been able to come out of this conversation ahead with our team, essentially. So being able to bring everyone together, because we're learning too as we go, and this is the first year that we've been able to incorporate the entire package and look to see like how much of this even matters to the team. And what we learned is that all of it matters to everyone in different ways. And so it's not just a matter of like, well, maybe we'll stop doing 10 extra days because people don't care about it. There are some people who truly don't care about that extra time off. But the ones who do, it's very important. And same with the development and all of the different things. And so just that education piece, really kind of understanding the whole model and then proactively sharing it with your team and proactively describing in your role postings, yes, we are a living wage employer. Our effective wage is this, and this is what that covers, I think has been a big learning for us.
Thank you.
When you get it from internally, that's the worst.
Yeah,
because then you're just on
really
your back
hard.
foot, right?
It's really hard.
You know you're
yeah.
doing better than, because we would save a lot of money if we just paid living wage
Yeah.
and didn't do anything else.
Right, totally.
You would save a lot of money.
Totally, yeah, it'd be a lot easier
But then
for...
as soon as the staff accuse you of that, you're on your back foot. And then you're just trying to, they just think you're spinning. And
Yeah, and things take time, and you want to do it well, and you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to think you're doing something right and then not. So it's continuing to build that trust with your team that the intention is there and you're learning, and it's not likely going to happen overnight. And then for, especially new team members who we don't have that trust in the bank account yet, a lot of the ones that we do, they sit back and they're like, we know that you'll do the right thing.
Yeah.
We'll wait and hear. We're excited to hear where it lands. And those who aren't there yet, it's really difficult to be like, just hang in there. We're working on it.
Thank you. Amazing. Megan, next to you, please.
Yeah, I agree with that. The flip side to that, though, is working with Ryan and being able to take more of a holistic approach on it actually enabled us to sort of have someone validate the value of our whole package too. And that actually was really important for the team, because we just naturally were doing this stuff, and quite honestly, we weren't that great at verbalizing it and really kind of promoting it, and we were listening to our team. I think that's really important too. So we wanted to be creative in the kind of package and lifestyle and everything that we could provide our team, but a big part of that meant really listening to them. So we do regular motivational surveys, and that same thing, understanding that maybe one team member really values this, but some team members value that. And I do find going through the process and that transparency and working with team has really helped them recognize the areas that we do stand out and really assign that value, because we compete with that a bit, because someone could be, same thing, we're saying we're certified living wage, you can go and do dog training on your own and maybe bring this much in, but we're providing this security, salary, all of these other things, and this value that it just validated it for us and really enabled us to communicate that to team. So I think there's importance in that, and it does help with that. I understand internally we still, but honestly, if someone comes in, they're really pushing against it, that's usually a flag that maybe they're not the best fit for the team too. Because our team comes in and they value it and they want it, they challenge us on it, we grow with them, and they know that they can be a voice within some of those decisions that we're making, which is really important. We're not a huge team, right? And I want everyone to feel like we're all on the same level here and we're trying to reach the same goals. And so I think part of it, and my only thing to sit with is if you're not sure really how to do that, ask them. You know, and we do it multiple ways. I have regular sit downs with teams. Some people feel more comfortable talking to me face to face. We also have surveys. Some of them are anonymous and some of them aren't. And so it allows you to hit a few different ways to make sure we're really addressing what they're looking for and needing. The business has changed a lot too. We typically have people come in that they don't have a lot of job experience. So that's where I was thinking we were seeing a bit of a disconnect on understanding what we offered and the difference there. But as the business has changed and grown, we've really been able to sort of evolve and change with them. And I think this just has helped us really identify areas that we are helping team better too.
Yeah, I love that, Megan. If you don't know what they want, ask them. And another good point to highlight, Ryan is an amazing resource. So if anyone is curious about a living wage, want to understand it, like we've kind of alluded to these different ways of classifying a living wage, jump on the phone with Ryan. He's an amazing resource for you. I'm going to move on to Kevin next, and I'm just going to provide a quick story about Kevin's commitment to this, and I hope you got no choice now. But Kevin, we spent an hour on the phone talking about living wage right before the holidays, and the only thing, I won't go into detail, but the one thing I will share, it was quite obvious and apparent how much Kevin felt torn about this and how much he truly cares for his staff. And he was trying to come up with unique ways. And we spent an hour just talking about the difficulties and the complexities of this. And so I just want to share that little insight, because this isn't just, let's do it, or no, I can't do it. There's a lot of gray, there's a lot of minutia to it. And that's why we set up this panel, so that you can learn directly from the people doing it. So on that note, Kevin, love your heart. What can you share with the group in terms of...
Thanks for taking my phone call that day too, guys.
Of course, happy to.
I don't know if I have any advice. I only know what worked and what didn't work for our business. But I do know that if you take care of your staff and they see that they don't have to struggle when they come to work and they can see a place where they can grow into it, you will keep them for a long time. And keeping staff for a long time is great. It's better for business. It's better for your customers. They see the same faces. And then you end up working with a whole group of people that are friends rather than coworkers. And I love your idea of saying, how do we help you retire at Righteous? Forgot the name there. I was going to use the old name for a second. So yeah, I think it's just really a smart business move. I think at the beginning, it's harder. I think you have to delay your own gratification. I think it's harder to pay it at the beginning. But as we go, we just kind of keep adding more to our package because we want to see people retire with us. We want to just keep the same team because it's really good business. That's it.
Amazing. And this is coincidence. The new slogan for Be Local that we're rolling out this year is, "We're doing good is good for business." And so we're really trying to move away from this idea that to do good comes at the expense of, or these concepts of impact and profit are mutually exclusive. And I think this is a perfect segue to Young-Sil, because she kind of kicked off this entire panel talking about that. This isn't an expense to business. The people are the business. So Young-Sil, can you close us out with the last piece of reflection for the group to leave with?
Yeah, I can actually give some live example for what you just talked about, like how treating employees well and our contractors well, our workers well, benefits our company. I have a couple examples for that. In cleaning business, it's very common that for cleaners, when cleaners work for other companies, at the end of their clean, they leave their own card. because they want to steal the clients. So what they do is they work for the certain company, getting paid about $15, $16 for about 3 months. They get as many clients they want and they leave. So it's a very common practice. So that was our concern from the very beginning of when we started the business. How do we stop that? As managers, even when we say don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, we can never really control others. And when we say don't do that, it's putting that idea into their brain more than anything. So we decided not to say it. So rather, the solution we came out was that we will develop this environment within our company that they can balance out themselves. The benefit is higher than stealing clients and leaving. So we want them to make the decision to stay with us. So we pay them good wage, we treat them well, we give them the power and control that they would have for the relationship building with their clients rather than us controlling everything. So we got a few calls from our loyal cleaners saying, oh, hey, I had a client that wanted to pay me privately and pay less and kind of do that. I just left. I'm not comfortable. Can you follow up with them? We get those calls because those attempts still happen. Our cleaners choose not to because they mention that I get paid well here. If I go private, then I need to deal with all those customer service, payment. They all had experience when they didn't get paid for about 4 months. And their clients say, oh, sorry, I'll pay next week. I'll pay next week. It just doesn't happen. As an individual cleaner, they're very, very vulnerable in those situations. And almost 100% have their experience in that situation. So they prefer to work for us because then they are secure to get paid. They don't need to deal with those difficult situations. So by creating that environment, they choose to stay and they become strong advocate. They go out, talk to other clients about our company, talk to other cleaners about company. They become that advocate. We had another situation when we had a new cleaner joined our team. She's no longer with us, but we learned really quickly that her ethics didn't work with our company. So within the first month that she went to a job, it was a pair job with our loyal other cleaner in the team. And she tried to talk to our senior cleaner that, hey, let's lie about this hours and just get paid full hire. Our senior cleaner actually scolded her on site and how you really shouldn't do that with Home Spritz. You get paid here and you get respected here. You will not get paid or respected this way, and you really shouldn't do that. And she cut that off, and we were told about that through other cleaners later. So just that really spoke to me that we were not there. There's nothing we can control as business owners, but our workers themselves, they become our voice, they become our advocates, and that runs the business. That makes the whole business stronger and just run it for a long run. That's what we believe, and those are the moments that we want to really cherish.
Amazing. Huge round of applause for this panel. So these are all incredible businesses doing incredibly inspiring work in community. These are also model examples of members who are part of the Be Local Network, a local network of Calgary-based businesses that care about more than just making a financial profit. Some of them need to renew their membership. But if you're interested in Be Local at all, feel free to reach out to me. Would love to chat with you about how you can expand your business, grow your impact, and connect with other amazing businesses like this. I'm sure all of you were like, I wish I could spend more time with all of them. Like each of them could put on a masterclass about all the amazing things each of their own businesses are doing in community. Well, guess what? We can go have breakfast together. And you're like, how did you facilitate a panel discussion and didn't let us ask any questions? That was on purpose. Some people ask bad questions. And so now you can ask your bad question or great question directly with the entrepreneurs, directly with the organization members. It's a really fun diner. So if you've got some free time this morning, come hang out with us. And hopefully we can, if you can't stay for the entire time, at least have a cup of coffee with the group. Thank you everyone for joining us today. So thank you Vibrant Communities Calgary. Thank you Alberta Living Wage Network. And again, huge round of applause to this incredible panel.